Hello, beautiful people. Should I say that? Because that's more appealing. Then more people will listen to me, hopefully, and hear this message that it's extremely important. Anyway, so let's get to it. Lately, I've been doing some, not really a research. Anyways, I stumbled upon some footage and some older. I would say in the older cities, when we see all these cool, complex architecture in the cities, we think this is something old that we created, because that's what we've been taught, that we created, that we built these things, and there are photos of it, and it's like blah blah blah, and we did all this work, and some rich guys popped up out of nowhere and financed all these projects, and so on and so on. Total lie. Like this, somehow we got here, okay? Or somehow they got here and stole this and took credit for it, whereas this was actually built by our previous society. You can call it civilization because they were actually civilized. We don't deserve in these days. In quite, a few years in the past, up until now, we don't really deserve the name civilization, because that means that's a civilized nation. I don't see much civilized behavior, patterns of civilized behavior around. Okay, now if you do, I don't know. You need to examine things one more time or a couple more to figure out what's actually happening and what's going on with us as a society. Maybe not with every individual, obviously not, because there are some of us that are examples of how things should be and how we were meant to be, but alright, whatever. I'm not gonna boast too much about myself because I'm not the only one, so there's quite a few of you also pretty civilized and nice people. So, but for those that believe this, that fell for this propaganda of how we were always brutal savages, and that now we are, advanced, now we are modern, now we are civilized, and as civilized and modern, we are, coming up with all this cool technology, cool technological gadgets, all this stuff that belongs, that goes with it, okay? A total lie. Like just a few days ago, I'm surrounded by like super fancy society, meaning super fancy cars also. And what I'm seeing is a lot of them nowadays, a lot. Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, all sorts of like big brands, all electrical cars. Like pretty amazing, pretty impressive, to be honest. I know there's those of you who are like, it's not saving the environment, the lithium, we gotta dig for it, we're destroying the earth. I get it, I understand. However, listen, back in the days when those people that built these amazing cities, these incredibly complex looking architectural structures, they were a different type of society. And guess what? They actually had everything powered by electricity. And why is that so? Because electricity is available if you know how to harness it, and they knew it. It's available anywhere. Now, what we have is we have gasoline-powered engines, garden equipment. I don't even know. I don't even have to get into that. You guys, whoever knows me, knows I'm radically against gasoline-powered garden equipment, gardening tools, especially leaf blowers and such nonsense, for various reasons that are extremely disturbing to one's sanity with their obnoxious noise and extreme pollutants. Now we're talking about climate change, right? But millions of them are running daily across our country, the US, and worldwide. So let's cut the crap, okay? Because honestly, those who got a lot of money pocketed a lot of money from selling this crap and approving this to be ever produced and sold for these reasons are totally oblivious and totally don't give a shit about environment, let alone you. So in that, being surrounded, working in the area, doing security in a very, very uppity, very high society part of Washington State in the US, I see all these electric vehicles, right? My point was this. I went to check the price of one of the incredibly amazing looking Porsche, okay? All electric Porsche. So listen to this. Porsche, the brand, started with an electric car. To many of you, that's a surprise. So it was for me. I had no idea. The first car they ever produced was an electric car. Now imagine, Porsche is a known brand. It's a very reputable brand, which also means it's a traditional brand. Means it goes far back. Now we don't maybe know exactly how far back, because patents can be stolen. All sorts of technology can be stolen. So we don't know how Porsche came into existence. Maybe it just dragged itself from being stolen from the society before that made these cities that we admire and go as tourists around the world and admire the structures and churches that were never even meant to be hosting a bunch of people worshiping some kind of god. Never. They were power stations, for those of you that don't know that. That's why there's so much copper on them. Used to be. They got robbed of that too. And now they use them as these ridiculous, primitive, religious fantasy buildings that people go into and worship some kind of god up in the sky. Okay? That it's outside of them. Another delusion, another deception to rob you of your actual responsibility, of your free choice, of your power within, not without. Okay? We always talk about these same things. Man. This is nothing new under the sun, even about what I'm gonna tell you. But the thing is, it surprised me that yes, this is not a very known fact. But when you go research, like I said, I went to look at the price of that really nice looking Porsche, because I sort of estimated what the price would be, and I was very close to it. And by looking at that, I also discovered some of the actual history of brand Porsche, and that's how I got to the point where oh, wait a second, the first car was electric? So why is this whole thing now about electric cars such a big trend, oh, this is such new technology? It's not new at all. Not new at all. This existed way, way before, and then somehow this society or the previous society collapsed or was attacked, was conquered, and then these parasites came in who took the credit for all these amazing buildings, all these amazing structures, and started with the primitive gasoline technology. Now this goes further into something else. You know what? That's another mind-boggling thing for people to think about. Okay, when you are surrounded by electrical cars, what do you notice? No noise. No noise, no distractions, no none of that stuff. As much as we like that, I'm a car enthusiast, so when I'm in a car and I hear my engine going when I, ramp it up, great. You know what that does to me? Something primal awakes in me, something beastly, right? When you eat meat, when you tear meat off bones, I spoke to one of you, you know who you are, and you're not the only person who noticed that. When we tear that meat off the bone, that flesh off the dead animal, we feel like hunters. We feel something inside of us, something primal. Again, primal awakens. Why does it have to be? What's with this primal thing? What is primal? Primal is the most basic, primitive way of existing. That awakens So it does with all these raging sounds. What's a gasoline power tool? How does it work? Extremely fucking loud. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Loud as shit. You can't be normal if you're at home, and certain crews, garden landscape, whatever they call themselves, come over. Your piece goes to shit. There's no fucking way you can drown that noise out. No way. You can turn the music as loud as possibly you can. You put your freaking earbuds in. Trust me, you will not drown that noise out. That noise is so pervasive. It gets into every little crack of your home. And as extremely destructive frequencies come out. Does that sound familiar? I mean, honestly, now think about a society, civilization that you do not know only because you were lied to, because you were deceived through media, through history books written by, or being dictated by the parasitic members of our society who wanted to turn a history to their advantage, which is exploiting you, keeping you in the dark, keeping you at the very, very low frequency of your primal instincts. What are your primal instincts? What are they? To eat, to shield yourself, protect, which means using violence, aggression if needed, sleep, and fuck. Okay? In the rawest term of it, to reproduce. Basically, that's what animals do. But we're humans. Now, guess what? We're told that we're just like other animals. Like, what are you talking about? That never rang true with me. Never. I'm not an animal. I have things, possibilities, and abilities that no animal could ever even dream to have. And I'm not putting animals down because of that. I think animals are amazing. I think they're warm. They can be cruel, but they're warm. They're sensitive. They're beautiful creatures, but they are governed by the very primal instincts. They don't think of you. Sorry, they don't think of you as like, I'm maybe not gonna attack this person. They seem nice. They don't have that option. They attack you because they feel threatened. Our civilization is governed by that same instinct. We constantly feel threatened by something or somebody. So we constantly have to imagine some kind of enemy, coming into our life. We always have to protect ourselves. We're always in this state of panic, constant panic. And in that, we support governments to go to wars. We support governments to throw bombs. We support governments to give us all this crap and all